Welcome back to another episode of Penny Help Jess. This is episode 644. And if you're watching the videos on a daily basis, then you saw that yesterday's penny roll hunt, I found two 1960 Denvers in one penny roll. And then when I did the short video, one of them is better than the other. Yeah, that's it. And you can see very easily, even through the plastic and at this distance, you can see on the where is it at? You can see on the interior of the six, you can see the separation. One of them is stronger than the other. I don't know if that's the strong one or not. No, they're both pretty strong. You can see it even from a distance. You can see the separation on the six on the inside. And that's really, I didn't really go into the rest of the coin and whatever, but so that would be two. So I went on copper coins. And sure enough, you can see the separation that we found right there, and that would make it and it's in very good condition. It could be MS63 or 65, but it's at least an MS60, which is $75. So just to show you what can be found. Now, one thing I would have to say is that if I did not look at these individually under my loop for a second time, I would not have found these errors. So the importance of taking second loops, taking second loops. Okay, taking second looks at a coin with a loop, at minimum, right? So you can get the oh, you get a lot of copper in this one too. Very good. So so having a loop, and look at this, right? Somebody, I don't know if those are somebody's hairs or mine. I don't know if it was there at the beginning of the video or not. But taking a second look at some of your copper pennies is really, really worth it under a loop. Especially those really clean ones. Because, like a penny like this, for example, heavily circulated, seriously dirty, where you have to clean it, right? Because it's gonna become so much less valuable, right? So if you look here, right, a very fine is it falls from 225 for an MS65 down to $10. Now $10 is something. Oh, we got a nice 2017 D, but I collect the P's, not the D's. What was I gonna say? We got our second copper penny here. $10 is something, but I don't know if you're gonna go crazy over cleaning a $10 coin. I mean, once it's cleaned, it gets that designation of cleaned. And I don't know if it's worth the time and the energy and the effort and the destruction of the coin for $10. So, but the ones that we found yesterday are super clean. Look at these. Look how nice these are. I wouldn't surprise me if they got MS65s. Maybe if you do some I think it's like 15 or $20. It's called conservation, and the coin places do conservation on the coin. The grading companies do conservation. So maybe that raises it up an extra point from like a 62 to a 63, and that might be the difference of $30-$40. So who knows, if it jumps up 2 or 3 points, then forget about it. Then you really made some on it, if it gets the designation of the FS 101, right? If it doesn't, they go, oh no, that's shelving or something. Oh, then you're screwed. And you just lost your money, which is why a lot of people don't like grading. They would just take this, for example, and just put it on eBay and say it's an FS 101, and then that's up to you. You want to roll the dice on it, or if you don't believe it's an FS 101, give me $50, and then you take all the risk, and then you also get all the reward, right? So if it's 220, the way it works with grading, in case you didn't notice, is that the difference between those grades at higher grades, it starts to jump up exponentially. So an MS65 could be 225, for example, but then the MS66 could be $400, and then the MS67 could be 1,000, and then the MS68 could be 2,000. I mean, that's how grading works. Same thing with well, not exactly the same, but similar. Like card grading, Pokemon cards, sports cards. The PSA 7 could be like the raw price. You know what you pay for it raw, which means ungraded, and then um, so let's say it's $10 raw, and you got the PSA 7. It might sell for the same thing raw. I see those little die chips on the top of that. They're not big enough for me. Um, and then the 8 is worth $20, right? And then the 8 is worth $20. And then the 9 is worth $40, right? So every grade it's like doubling. And then the 10 can be worth $200. So you'll see the jump in value as the grades go up, but then between that 9 and the 10, it could quadruple. Sometimes it's even more than that. I mean, I've seen some ridiculous differences in value and sales price points between a 9 and a 10, where the 9 is like $100, but the 10. So a good example of that is the if you collect Pokemon cards, there's a card called the special delivery Bidoof, BIDDOOF, or BIDOOF, something like that. It's the Bidoof, the Charizard Bidoof, and raw. They're like $400. PSA 9s, they're like 5. So it's such a small difference between raw and a 9, but the 10s are 2 grand. That's a huge difference. And it wasn't like that. Oh, we got a Canadian. Nice. Oh, I haven't found a Canadian in a long time. I wonder what they're selling for. That's a really nice one. What year is it? 81. What a nice Canadian. Nice. I hold on to all the Canadians too, of course. So these pennies that we found, if look at the condition. The condition's tremendous, man. I can't believe we found them. And I was doing the short video. I was doing the short video, and when I was doing the short video, I said, "Wow, it looks like there's some separation on the inside of the 6." And then I said, "Let me hold on." I stopped it. I paused the camera. I paused the video. And I said, "Let me check. Let me look at it underneath the loop." Let me look at this one under the loop too, specifically the 8. I don't know. Could be. I don't. This is probably a good one to clean. So dirty. It looks like there's separation in the R and on the reverse. Let me look at the reverse real quick. I don't know. So dirty. Probably gonna have to clean this one. Only because it looks like it's in pretty decent condition. Maybe it's not in good condition. I don't know. I thought that 8 looked really interesting. So coins are pretty similar, you know, in the regards of how they jump up exponentially between conditions. So I guess what I'm saying is those really nice condition copper pennies, you really want to take second looks at them. And I have to be honest with you, the only reason I take second looks at them is because of the short videos. I have found more errors or possible errors. I should say possible errors. I'm not an expert. Even experts make mistakes, but I'm just saying that I'm not an expert. But I do know how to search for certain types of signatures. I'll take a picture of that. That's pretty cool. I do know how to look for certain signatures like separation, and I want to look at that G on the 88. It's not a flare G, but it sure is a thick G. I'm going to say it's not a flare G. I'm going to say there's no doubling on the reverse. But boy, that bottom line on the G on the FG is fat. All right, let's keep it going. Ah, 2017 P, nice. So, oh, that's a nice copper penny if that's copper. I think it is. Yeah, it's a nice 1979. So that would be my advice. Either post mint damage, probably, or deteriorated die. Super interesting. No, I don't know, man. It's so hard to tell sometimes. When you see on these old copper pennies, you start seeing all the shapes and the letters and stuff moving around. Anyway. So you definitely want to take closer looks at a minimum on your clean copper pennies that you find. Because generally speaking, right, of course, there could be that dirty zinc cent that's worth $1,000, right? And yeah, so yeah, there's always the extreme at the other end of the spectrum. But generally speaking, I have to double up some of these coins. There's just too many. We found too many copper pennies today. That's a good problem. I put them in a row here on the side, and they're going down towards off the table, so I had to double them up. Probably double them up by condition for my short videos. But if you're gonna take an extra look at anything, like if you're gonna do like one extra thing, I'm saying it's like I'm not gonna do all that, but I will take an extra close look at the elements of my cleaner, mintier looking copper pennies. And if you're gonna do one thing, that's the one thing to do. Because every once in a while you will find a an error on a copper penny that you didn't notice before, and that's worth money. So that's my recommendation to all of you. God bless. Please click like and subscribe. This is episode, I think it's 664. No, 644. This is episode 644. I'll see you in episode 645.